it. Let me show you how to do it.
Hi guys, so this is my Ninja Soda Stream kind of equivalent, and you can create carbonated water or drinks, carbonated drinks, you know. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can fill the CO2 can that comes with this and how you can fill it up using a CO2 cylinder. So the very first thing you need to have is this thing right there. This is an adapter that connects a bigger cylinder into the smaller bottle that we're going to be refilling. So this is something that I picked up from Amazon. I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you guys can see which one I got. So we have this ready, so we're going to put this on the 20-pound cylinder that I have. There are different sizes that you can buy. So let's go ahead and install this. Okay, so this is the CO2 cylinder that I have. Mine is a 20-pound. They have different sizes. You can get a 5-pound or 10-pound, whatever you want. They also have 15 pounds. So the first thing we're going to do is install this. There you go. Just make sure it's nice and snug. You don't have to go crazy with it. You don't want the brass fitting to damage, but just hand tight is good enough. It does have a washer inside that seals off and prevents any excess. And then the CO2 canister that we're gonna fill up, I think it's a 60 liter that goes right there. And this thing have different types. So mine does not have a tube. So normally there's a tube in there, which is a siphon tube. And the siphon tube, basically what it does is CO2 is compressed, you know, in a liquid form. So what you want is when you're filling it in, you want the liquid to come through and fill up your 60 liter canister that you're filling up. So if you do it upright and it does not have a tube, basically your liquid is sitting at the bottom and the gas is sitting on top. And when you open the valve, you're going to try to push gas into the 60 liter canister, and this is not how you want it. You want the liquid to be in there because you want that compressed form to be in there. So if you don't have a siphon tube in there, basically what you need to do is you need to invert the tank upside down, and then the liquid will come at the bottom, meaning the top of this, you know, but when it's inverted, this is basically the bottom part, right? So and then liquid will be at the bottom, and then when you open the valve, basically all the liquid will rush in through this and then fill up your thing. So you need to find out, you know, which one you have. Basically there is a way you can test it. Okay, so how do you tell if your cylinder have a siphon tube in there or not? There's one way you can do it. It is kind of dangerous. I don't recommend it. You know, I'm just doing it to show it to you guys on the video, but I'm doing it in a controlled environment, but you definitely want to be very careful. Definitely do not recommend doing this at all. But the only way you can tell is basically by opening up the valve and see the stream coming out. If it's a longer stream, then that's how you can tell. You know, it all depends. I mean, if you live in a humid environment, you're going to see a much longer stream coming out. But if you live in dry areas like Arizona or LA, you know, you may not see a long streak, right? So it all depends on the atmosphere that you're in. Also the weather conditions, you know. So I'm in Florida, so let's see how long is my stream. And I know mine does not have a siphon tube. Normally there are signs on there that tells you whether it's a siphon tube or not. So let's go ahead and open it. Now you have to be very careful, because if you lose control of the valve, then this thing can shoot out really, really far away and it can cause a lot of damage. So you definitely don't want that. Really cold. So if the liquid was coming out, it would be very, very thicker, not that thin, that what you just saw. And since this was gas, basically that's why it was like this. So you know that there is no siphon tube. Now I can do the exact same thing inverted, and then you're going to see a much thicker stuff coming out, which basically proves that it does have a, and that's a much dangerous test, because once you invert it, then you don't have a lot of control over this, because this thing is so heavy, and that's not the test that I want to do. So I'm just going to avoid that test. But just wanted to show it to you guys. You know, this is one way of testing it. So since I already know that mine does not have a siphon tube, all I'm going to do is install the device here again and fill up the CO2 canister. Now, one main thing is the canister needs to be in the freezer for a few hours, so it's super cold. That's the only way, you know, it'll accept the change, you know, the transfer basically. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and install this, and then I already put my 60-liter can in the empty cylinder basically in the freezer, so we're going to go get that and get this thing filled upside down. That's my kid talking in the background. All right, now it's ready.
What?
Okay, so let's see what it weighs. So I'm gonna put it into, change the units, 2 pounds. So let's reset it. So it's empty at 1.753. And full should be around 2 point something. 2.5, 2.6 is acceptable. So we'll go ahead and fill this up. And then we'll keep measuring it. It's very cold because I took it out from the freezer. Eddie, can you stop?
What?
Please?
Please.
Eddie's working, please.
Why?
Okay, just make sure everything is
I have to go way faster before
nice and tight.
when I get tight. What is that?
Okay, now we're gonna flip it.
We can flip it?
Okay, so now we're ready. Let's go ahead and open it slowly, and you're gonna hear the hissing sound because it's gonna start filling it up. So there you go. You can hear it. It's filling up the tank. If you guys start hearing crazy sounds, stop it. And just open up a little bit so it's filling it up slowly.
Slowly. Slowly.
It does take some time. Okay, I'm not hearing anything when I open it, so let's see how much we filled up. Make sure this thing is closed. Let's focus the camera. Okay, let's make sure this thing is closed, and we can release the pressure. There you go, pressure is released. And the pressure is basically between this and this. And then we'll go ahead and remove this, and we can measure it, see how much we filled up. So it's at 2.593. This is perfect. So it filled up all the way in just a short amount of time, whatever long the video took, because I'm not going to edit it. So this is the perfect weight, you know, 2.6. It could be around 2.6, 2.8. So that's pretty much it, guys. Now I have a filled up Ninja Thiristi Soda Sense 60-liter can. Now, safety wise, you may want to remove this. Don't leave it connected. There's no pressure because everything is off, you know, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove it and store it. Because the only reason you don't want this to be here, because just in case if it falls, it can cause damage and it can burst up. So just for safety reasons, you know, would not recommend leaving that. But it's a pretty safe process if you do it right. Just make sure you know, you follow all the guidelines. Again, this is an educational tutorial. I'm not encouraging you guys to do this in any way, but you know, if you're, you know, here to learn something, hopefully you learned something. So one feedback I want to give you guys on this connector: there are multiple connectors that they sell, and you know, some of them they have like the gauges and all that stuff. You know, do you really need the fancy one, or are you okay with this one? My experience, this worked out great for me. I don't see a need for having a long one with the cord and all that stuff, the long hose and all that stuff, because, you know, if you have one of those, then you're wasting a lot of CO2, because, you know, that thing that you have in that hose is just going to waste because you're gonna air it out. So with this connection, you don't lose much, because, you know, whatever is left between this part and the canister is, you know, you're only losing this much, which is not a whole lot. So, you know, this worked out great for me, as you guys saw in the video, and you know, I really liked that. It was pretty self-explanatory, you know, how to do it, and very much easier to follow it. There you can see there's a seal. It's kind of clear that it's hard for you to see, but there's a nice seal in there, and it's sealed pretty good. I had no issues, and literally I filled it up, you know, in a short amount of time. So if you guys are looking for those long hoses, I would not recommend that. I'm going to leave a link for this one in the description below. I'm not getting paid by this seller, but there are many different kinds. I'm just telling you, or sharing my views on my experience on this particular one. So I recommend just get the small one. It's cheaper, it works good, and it's safer. So I have no issues. Now if you had the one with the siphon tube, this is probably going to make your life much easier, because you can do everything upright. But in my case, you know, I had to invert it, but it wasn't that bad. Now if you're inverting it, make sure you have one of these on there, because if you only have this, then you're going to have to hold on to it, because you definitely don't want to knock this off on the ground. So this thing is a good protector, and it also gives you a handle as well. So make sure you have one of these installed. But other than that, that's it, guys. You know, hopefully you guys like the video, and if you like it, guys, please subscribe to my channel and like the video. Hey. I don't know what he's saying. Alright guys, thanks for watching.